Welcome to One Chapter, One Thought. I'm Pastor Chris from Lincroft Bible Church in New Jersey, and every weekday I read one chapter of the New Testament and offer one brief devotional thought. Today's reading is from the book of James, chapter 3. Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, for you know that we who teach will be judged with greater strictness. For we all stumble in many ways, and if anyone does not stumble in what he says, he is a perfect man, able to bridle his whole body. If we put bits into the mouths of horses so that they obey us, we guide their whole bodies as well. Look at the ships also. Though they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are guided by a very small rudder, wherever the will of the pilot directs. So also, the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. How great a forest is set ablaze by such a small fire! And the tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. The tongue is set among our members, staining the whole body, setting on fire the entire course of life, and set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creature, can be tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our Lord and Father, and with it we curse people who are made in the likeness of God. From the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brothers, these things ought not to be. Does a spring pour forth from the same opening both fresh and salt water? Can a fig tree, my brothers, bear olives, or a grapevine produce figs? Neither can a salt pond yield fresh water. Who is wise and understanding among you? By his good conduct, let him show his works in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder in every vile practice. But the wisdom from above first is pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. And a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. One thought. Conflict in the church, unfortunately, is inevitable because it is filled with people. And even us as Christians are still sinners. And so we can cause conflict. But James shows us here in chapter 3 how to reduce conflict and pursue peace. And first of all, he says, be humble. Verse 13, who is wise and understanding among you? By his good conduct, let him show his works in the meekness of wisdom. What James means here is that we are to go about living a good life, right? Our good conduct, showing our good life through good works, and these good works are done through humility, through meekness. We must do good works in a spirit of humility, which comes from wisdom. And so this will cause us to have a peaceful community. The unwise person, however, is like verse 14 says, they are filled with selfish ambition, bitter jealousy, and arrogance. And that contributes to conflict in the church. Because arrogance tells us, well, I'm better than others, I want this position, and we begin grasping for it, or we might become overly critical of others, or defensive if someone points out our flaws, and we can try to take things over and run them ourselves. But humility seeks the good of others first. Humility says it's not about me. It's about living together as the people of God. And so humility helps us reduce conflict and pursue peace. And then he also says that we are to be reasonable or open to reason in verse 17. Wisdom from above, true wisdom, is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits. And I just love that description of wisdom, right, as being open to reason. This means being willing to listen to others. The reasonable person hears things out. They are also willing to grant concessions, right? Like, they're not stubborn. They're not always doubling down on their own opinions. But reasonableness, or being open to reason, is then really very closely tied to humility, right? It's saying, hey, okay, let's talk this out. I'm willing to listen to you. I'm willing to change my mind. And that reduces conflict rather than saying, I'm right, you're wrong, this is how we have to do it. Allowing God's wisdom to grow in our hearts and lives shapes our behaviors. And this will cause us to live in humility and to be open to reason. And a community like that avoids conflict but pursues peace.